What's up, trail trash? Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, I'm going to be airing down all four tires on my FJ and then airing them up. The tires I have are 35 by 12 and a halves. We'll be going from 37 psi down to 15 psi, and then from 15 psi back up to 37 psi. I did this yesterday. I tried doing this video yesterday, and I didn't read the instructions on my tire deflators. So the tire deflators I'm using are the all-top tire deflators. They're just a simple screw-on type. You set the PSI, dial it in, and then screw it on. It airs down to that PSI. So I didn't read the instructions on how to set it, and I had it set wrong, and it pretty much aired down to 5 psi and it was going to 0. So once I read the instructions, I figured I would redo the video. Now, yesterday after I did that, I utilized my single line airline and chuck to air up each tire back to 37 psi. So they were down to about 5 psi and back up to 37 psi, and that took a little over 14 minutes to do that. And I'm utilizing a ARB twin air compressor. I have it mounted under the passenger seat, so it's in a cool, clean environment. That'll help, the life of the air compressor. Just the twin air compressor, single airline. It took over 14 minutes to air them all up, and then today I will be getting them down to about 15 psi and then airing them back up to 37 psi. And I'll utilize a 4-tire inflation setup. This is I made this out of Flexzilla hose. The air chucks are open chucks, so they will continue to blast air out. And in the past, that's why I haven't used this, because I thought I was losing a lot of air. But if you'll set the system up, lay it out, and then attach it one at a time, you're not losing that much air in the system. And then afterwards, if you're airing all 4 tires up, you take one off at a time. When you set it down, whether it's in sand or mud or whatever, you don't have to worry about that getting inside the chuck. But the open chuck is continuing to push air through it. So, and still, you're not losing a lot of PSI. Well, I'll show you that here during the video. So anyway, stick around. If you have any questions or comments, just drop them below. Yeah, just drop them below. I'll get to them, and I'll see you at the end of the video. All right, so these are the all-top tire deflators. And the way I had it set was not right. I had the PSI right above this locking nut, but you want to back this locking nut up and set the PSI to the body of this deflator. That backing nut right there, you back it off, you set your PSI to the body of this, and then you just screw this locking nut down and tighten down, and that'll lock it in place. And once I did this and put it on the tire, like, it went down to exactly 15 psi. And I like to use a needle valve gauge. Let me see. Where's my tire gauge that I use? Yeah, it's right here. This is the one I use. It's simple. It's just a needle valve. Gives good pressure. It holds the pressure, so once you put it on, it'll hold it in place. It's good to 60 psi, which I think on the highway I run these. I like starting temperatures or starting PSI at about 37 pounds. And then I'll build up 3 or 4 pounds from there on the highway. I'm going to start the stopwatch, and then I'm going to walk around to each tire and screw on the deflator. They're already set to 15 psi, and I'm not going to run to do it. I'm just going to do normal walking speed. And starting. Sorry, all works fine. Alright, so this one has stopped, and we are at 4 minutes. That one stopped, so we're pretty much about 4 minutes. And now the other one should be stopping. Oh, let me start this up. So, roughly 5 minutes. All right, there it is. 5 minutes, 45 seconds. So I don't know if we can see that or not. 5 minutes, 45 seconds. And I would say about 5 minutes because I took time taking off each valve stem or each valve stem cover. So these work better today than it did yesterday. All right, so that took about 5 minutes to air down. That worked a lot better than it did yesterday when I didn't read the instructions on how to use it. So now I've got my my 4-tire inflation set up, and yesterday I think they were at 5 psi, and I aired all 4 tires up to 37 psi in, I think it was 14 minutes. So that was walking around 1 tire at a time, and that's when I realized I didn't know how to use the tire deflators, or I didn't read the instructions on how to use it. So I thought I knew, but I didn't. Once I read the instructions, it said it. It brought it to exactly 15 psi yesterday. I'm about to grab the tire gauge now and see what they went to. All right, so let's see if we can. All right, so this one's at about 17. And some of that could just be, I don't have it exactly dialed in on the body. Yeah, this one's right at 17 also. So, which is fine. It's just understanding exactly where to set it on the body. Yep, and I may have this one set a little lower because it's right at 15 there. So, close. And it says within 2 psi plus or minus, and that one's at 17. So all I got to do is look at them, reset all of them, but they're pretty much dialed in. They're all at 17 psi, except for this one. All right, so now all my tires are at 17 psi except for one, and it's at 15 psi. So I'm going to hook up my 4-tire setup and see how long that takes to air it up. problem with my setup is I have open chucks, and I've got to get closed chucks to replace that. But not bad. System's at 15 pounds psi, so you crank up. All right, got the air hose off, and 37, it looks like 37.5 psi on that one. $37 on that one. Probably lost it. Yep, 37.5. 37.5. So with those open chuck, and what I'm talking about, when I made this and I ordered these chucks, I was going for the locking chuck. I forgot to see if it was an open chuck or a closed chuck. A closed chuck, when you pull it off, no air's coming out. But what I may leave them this way just because I'm able to take them off, set them down, air, mud, water, dirt, sand, nothing will get in it as long as that air is going. So it keeps it clean, but we'll see what happened. All right, let's check this air pressure. There you go. That was at 38. All right, so this one got a, there we go. $37.5. And that's what I like seeing. All right. Let me get these air valve stem covers back on, put everything up. Got a scratch in my wheel. Alright y'all, that's it for today's video. Just showing you the all-top tire deflators, which took me about 5 minutes to deflate from 37 psi down to 15 psi on 35-inch by 12.5-inch tires. And then airing up, I utilized my homemade 4-tire inflation, which I made out of Flexzilla hose, field needle valve, and open air chucks. So with that system, it took me going from 15 to 37 psi. It took me right at 7 minutes to air up using my ARB twin air compressor. So that's it for today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. If you would, hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, stay trashy.